Hello girls, good morning. Today's project is to plant some trees. The frost has gone, so the ground's soft. It's been raining overnight, so it should be a nice day to do it. We've just got to find the right places. It's a conference pear. Conference pears are pears which go to look at lots of PowerPoint presentations, and they sit in little rows and drink coffee at break time and have small talk. They're commonly known to do that. So you have to plant them and make sure they don't get out of the ground and go off to a conference or an event nearby. You'll find them regularly wandering along at the side of roads, trying to hitch a lift to the pear convention. Anyway, there's a guy in Canada who does a thing called the Permaculture Orchard, which is a really cool book and video series. And he always plants his fruit trees in massive long rows. And he has this thing called PAN, pear, apple, nut. So he never ever puts a pear tree with a pear tree in the same line. And his argument is the reason for doing that is because it avoids getting plants passing from one to the next, the bugs and beetles that affect them. So it's interesting. Yeah, it's a great thing to look out for. It's called the Permaculture Orchard. I'll put a reference to it if I remember. There's something great about planting trees. I think it's a very optimistic thing to do. And my God, we need some optimism at the moment, don't we? And it's nice. It's the idea of planting something that's going to kind of outlive yourself and really won't show a great deal of benefit for a good few years. Well, no, other way around. It'll show a lot of benefit for a long time to come. So it's putting sort of positivity into a place. And that's really nice. I like that idea of adding to a landscape and then letting it just go and seeing what it can do to itself. Which is why we've planted so many trees so densely in this bit with bushes and things, because it's going to just kind of be just left to run, and I just keep feeding it with leaf mould and it sucks it in. And slowly we've seen the change in the soil. So it is having an effect 3.5, 4 years in. In this pile of plastic there are 15 fruit trees. Since we came here we planted well over 100 fruit trees and fruit bushes and nut trees and things like that. But they do take time and they're expensive. So this proved to be a bargain. I mean, there's nothing special about them, they're just bog standard trees, but they're £6 each, which is really cheap for a fruit tree that's what, 1.50 metre in height. What's the biggest thing is, or the biggest challenge is knowing where to put them. I think we'll put one more down here. A great spot. I don't know. This side of the building gets darker, but I thought we'd have 3 there. Got to bear in mind that these will get to probably 3 metres high. So that's up this sort of height, no higher than that. Yeah, that's okay. It's just this side of the house is the east side of the house, and you just tend to get less sunlight. So anything that's got significant amounts of fruit on ain't going to be too happy if it's got no sunshine. But this is open to the sun during the day, pretty good. It's just that bit over there that suffers a bit from it. Okay, we will keep having a look and think it out a bit more. chance of putting one or two more in this end. See over here on this side, we put a load of fruit bushes and plants in. The point of this is that they're just trying to get them going as much as you can to catch the blowing wind that comes through. Where Simba is might be a good spot. We'll stick one up there, that's right Simba. And then we'll put one or two a bit higher up the top there, nearer to the wall. But they're going to get walloped by the wind, that's the trouble. Seriously need to think this out. So we're going to stick one in here. Just there. That'll be a good. With our soil is, oh god, it hit rocks all the time. There we go. This stony soil. In fact, an awful lot of those stones ended up, I guess, in the past on the wall. This is why they clear the fields and put the stones around the edges. It kind of makes sense. Just you're constantly pulling stones out of the ground. Whenever you do anything involving digging, the chickens turn up. So the reason for planting them this time of year is that they're dormant. You don't want to leave it till the spring too late, because at that point we wanted to get started and growing, and you want to get a little bit of a build-up of the microbial system under the roots. Now I don't have any of that special stuff that I can't remember what it's called. There'll be a link below when I've researched it. So I'm going to do a trick that my granddad used to do, which is to plant the tree but put some leaf mould in, and it just kick-starts the mycelium, which acts as a sort of magnet to finding the minerals in the soil for the roots. So they have a symbiotic relationship, apparently, the roots and the mycelium, and it just accelerates the growth of the tree. So who knows? Anyway, I'll carry on digging. It's very hard to dig and hold the phone to make the film. There you go, see what I mean? So we're now pretty much got to the bottom of the topsoil, if you see what I'm getting at, so into subsoil, and we're already hitting endless rocks. Very, very rocky ground. There's a big rock just there. So there we are. It's got a root ball on it, and it's got some original soil with it, which is good because that'll help it to bed in faster. Chuck some bracken in the bottom because I think it's nitrogen that's in the bracken at this time of year when it's rotting down. Tell me otherwise, tree lovers. And that should start bearing fruit in about 3 to 5 years, I would have thought. It'll probably last 50 years maybe. So Cox's orange pippin. We'll see how it goes. The roots aren't that extensive, but at least there's some soil with them, and they're still very much alive. Okay, so we just need to make sure that that level there is, that level with the notchy bits there, those nodey bits there, is at or below ground level, so there's our planting point. That's a good helping, Bert. Yeah. I was just looking at this apple tree, Cox's orange pippin. I was looking at Malus domestica. It's interesting. So apples originated in Southeast Asia and were domesticated into use over 10,000 years ago, and have spread all over the planet. So we eat the fruit, and they have lots of obvious connotations with traditions. So Adam and Eve, and Norse mythology has apples in it, and likewise Greek mythology. So you're kind of looking at a fruit that's not just an edible thing, but it's part of our culture. The sad thing is, is that many of the obscure, more heritage-based fruits are dying out. Some of these that I've got are actually quite unusual. Some of them aren't. It just depends on potluck, I suppose, from the garden centre. But there are places that still sell lots of interesting heritage plants. The problem is they're incredibly expensive, and that kind of means it's a bit of a downer when you're trying to plant a lot of them. It's nice to have one or two extras in. But we've got some really obscure ones here. We've got a Galloway, I think it's called a Galloway pippin, which has kind of got little red stripes through the fruit, which is really delicious and very hardy for this kind of environment. So anyway, there we are, a little story about apples. You never know what you'll learn next.